these, there have been work done in each one of these, because they are really noticed that they're work, and even they are abstract figures on each one of them. So they wanted to know at that moment where you could find a big community living up in that mountain. I think we never know, because this is a reserve, so you cannot do no excavation or nothing. And I guarantee you that to get to the real bottom of this stone is a couple meters below, because these are thousands of years, you know, the botanic and trees and limb and leaf, you know, the sediment is covering the floor. But that's what the expert told us about this stone. And if you notice, this other one have a similitude of the pyramid or something.
The picture, yeah.
This is in a very, not very, but a tall mountain in that area. Is they call it Montaña Cantagallo, and it's like 202 meters above sea level, approximately.
202.
202 meters above sea level. And there you find all of this. Almost you find it in the middle and up to the top and all around the mountain. And they're facing west and east. Even there was like something like an amphitheater, because there's some benches like this all around, and this in the back. And when you're talking, you have like a nice sound. You don't need to be loud. It goes and come back to you clear. So we assume was some amphitheater where you have that effect. And another thing caught my attention when you're up there in that mountain. You feel a peaceful sensation in your body. Yes, and then I asked the Ram, they said that's the spirit, the good spirit with us. So, and really I experienced that sensation, like you're in a different world, like you're in a different dimension. It was very funny, but I enjoyed it a lot.
What time of the year you were in there?
What time of the year? I was in somewhere around November. Yeah, somewhere around November.
Maybe always some days that are special.
It's probably
to be there.
It's probably because in a second trip I went up there for the 2 months after. I found Illuminatis people up there. The movement of Illuminatis. They break one of these pieces and put a candle, and they was praying, because remember the 2013 will be the end of the world. Well, they was praying out there to save the humanity. I had to run them down and put the army behind them, because they went and break one of these stones for like dig it out and put a candle. And I tell you cannot do that, man. This is under protection. So I put the army at them, and they went after them. I don't know if they captured them or what. But there was a group of them, like 50. They went to spend a couple of days in the mountain praying to save the world. I told them to, when they pass in the cloud, must give me a ride so I could go with them. But it never happened. But that's what happened in that mountain. There are a lot of things more to discover in that mountain, because it's a virgin mountain. And according to the Ramas, they told me that during the wartime,
you mean
they went and hide there.
You mean 95?
80s, the 80s. And when they hide there, the armies would pass close and never see them, because the spirit are protecting them there. So that this is like a secret place for them. It's like a spiritual place. So that when they were there, nobody see them. They're like invisible for the army. So they feel that that's a very important place for them.
So I read something about that in the magazine, in the journal. So this place is in the journal.
Yes.
Okay.
No, this is the second. This is the first one. You don't have the first one, but I will look it up for you. I think I have an extra copy.
Okay.
Yes. The one I give to you is the second copy. After this project, there was the second one I went.
Okay, because I read that the army were following them and they hide in one place, and the army didn't.
Well, this is part of it too. There is to hide there. You see, almost the history is all around the community of the Ramas. They comment the same history. Even there's a guy named Coyote. He was a chief of the Contras, Ramas, and he said that when there was his grandfather told him that when in the old days the Mosquito King was here, he was trying to capture them for slave. They went and hide up there with the people. That's why you saw a little bit of them, because the mosquito exterminated a lot of the families. So they went and hide up there, and nobody couldn't see them because they was protected by the spirit. And there's a place, it's like a tunnel, like they chop down the stone in two, and they make like something like 1.5 meters wide. And it's like you could walk like maybe 7 meters in between the two big stones. And when you go with a machete, it would, of course we know that's magnet, but for them it's spirit.
Yeah.
So we have to respect that myth and legend. We can't tell them the opposite. Scientifically, we know that's magnet and the stone, but they say no, that's spirit. So it's very weird, and you know, there's a lot of things you need to have. I'm so sorry, my project I didn't took anthropologists with me because we lose a lot of information. They comment about a rooster crow in the morning there, and there's a jungle, there's no rooster. They talk about a white little dog that's taking care of these places, and you cannot capture it. He will go and run between your legs and you will never catch it. They talk about big mount cow, white mount cow. He running wild in the woodlands and you shoot after it and you never kill it. So it's a lot of myth and legend, very interesting to write this thing. I didn't have time to write down everything, I just remember some of it. And there's a very important Rama living in Indian River. He's like 38 years old now. From him born, he never wears shoes nor shirt. His hair is way down to this here. And he wears short pants because he don't have the leather to cover itself. And he will go and hunt by himself with, he have arch and he have all these things, he made artisanal stuff. And he go hunt in the bush by itself. He don't like to
say one
single Rama. And he don't want to be in the city. He just want to be in the woodlands. And he keep up his culture.
So no family, no...
Yes, he's married to a lady now from the community in Greytown, but he don't want to live down, he want to live in the woodlands.
And he has kids there?
He have 2 kids with her. 2 kids, but the kids live in the community because they want to study. But he don't want to go down to the city, he want to live in the woodlands.
Must be the only one there.
Yeah, there's only one living right now and do that he keep that tradition. And that caught my attention. I should bring somebody to study this guy. Because the place where he live is a house and you don't see one single nail in the house. Everything is with whip. Everything is tied with whip. And the flooring is a tree, but they call it makenge. They cut the skin of a tree without damaging the tree, and that's what they use for the floor. And that floor could remain up to 80 years and will never spoil nor rotten. That's how they live. And they live on high posts, and it's open just the roof with leaf, and everything is tied with whip. There's a whip they call wari whip. He showed me it, and you smell it, you have a high scent as a wild pig. And that's what they used to tie the leaf. But also, when I was going in the woodlands, he would go explain you all the trees. And next anecdote with this guy was funny because it's starting to rain. You could hear in the woodland, but that noise coming. You say, rain is coming. So we running with put on our raincoat and everybody trying to cover up himself, and the rain and everybody just wetting up. And he just stand up right next to a tree. He cut a leaf and he was like this so. And the water is hitting here and the water is pumping everywhere. And is he not getting wet? And we with coat and everything, we are getting wet. I said, God damn, look at this guy, man. You know, the guy have a lot of wisdom. Another time we went and he going watching on the ground and he said, wait, he said, a tiger just passed here. And he shows where the tiger print. Sometimes he shows, oh, we have some deer just passed by. And he could say how many of them was. A wild pig. And if any wild pig around, he will stop us, get some leaf and run them away from. So we say, let's keep on. And next thing caught my attention when we go in the bush, because there's a jungle. He will go like thick with the machete. He's walking, but he's cutting. Doing some little cutting some small little trees or limb. And I said, what are you doing that for? He said, that is from America. I know where I went through and I come back to that same way. Because they will guide us, where they say they chop, they said this is my way. Because several moments we get lost.
Yeah, you can get lost.
We get lost and we were spinning around. But he followed the chop, he said here I went through here because I chopped here. And that's where we found the way back. So it's a lot of things, man. I started in anthropology with those to get out the information, to complement with his research.
And he's still there?
Yes, he's still there. Another thing, if you go to his wife's house, she is well, you know, they married in a community. They took him just for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and he went back to the woodland. But he married, but it's a nice photograph, big photograph like the size of this. You say the wife is here and he's without shirt, just the same way he dressed in the wood, and she's well dressed up. That's a photograph, you have to respect that. And I said, wow, this guy is very interesting. I'm supposed to bring somebody to do a research on this guy. He just to sit down and watch on him, watch what he do. He catch fire with no kerosene or nothing. He just get a wood, put it together, and next to the matches, and it blow. In half an hour, 1 hour, he have cooked something here.
You say he used matches?
Yes, because there's not a way.
Okay.
He's not using the whole time. He could use it, but he said, well, you know, he's at home, he uses matches because it's what they provide him.
Because one guy was telling us a certain wood that you can keep the fire going on for a long time.
He was practicing, he was showing us how to use it, but he don't use it when he's home. He uses matches a little more quicker, he says. But he could roll it. He was teaching us how to do it.
So he speak English and
the Creole English, he speak
Rama
and Spanish a little bit. Because he's have influence from the Spaniard right there. But he's Rama complete. I have photograph of him. I will show you. Even I took a picture of him. Let me show you, right? See here? This is the guy. I put him on top of his stone. I said, do like you're praying to the gods. And I took the picture of him. Then I sit him in a cave. That's the guy he is.
You say 35?
Huh?
35 years old?
No, he's supposed to be like 38 because that was like 3 years ago. Yeah. Well, this is an interesting man. This is one of the oldest men there in Indian River. He is one of he had like 14 kids, and this is one of his kids. But he visit his people in Costa Rica. For him, that's the same territory. He went to the Chamán in Talamanca. He said Talamanca is our people. And another thing caught my attention is we had Colette Greenbar doing linguistic research here with the Rama family. And like 4 years ago, she's a French linguistic expert. She brought us an expert in phonetics. So we had the Ramas here doing a research about the way of talking the Rama language, some of the one who speak Ramas. And after she finished with this study for provide to see if the indigenous people in Costa Rica have related to the Ramas. And I said, how can you know? She said, well, we have experience, that's what we study for. I said, could I know your result after you do your study in Costa Rica? She sent me an email confirming a year after that the Bribris in Costa Rica are family to the Rama because the same phonetic. Just like calling Bribris and here Ramas, but they are the same families.
They speak the same language, you say?
Probably the same language.
Very close.
Very close. So they are Chibchas too, yes. So that caught my attention, very interesting. But historically, we know that the Rama territory used to go away to Colón, where the Cunas then. All by the Cunas, that was part of the Rama territory. All there was one single territory, and they've been chopping it down.
There's not that much history on the Rama culture, really.
Well, I think Colette Greenbar showed me a document talk about that the Rama used to reach away down to the Panama. Yes, and by political stuff, they went just cutting them down and separating them by countries. It's just like the mosquito. The mosquito was always up to Honduras. Now they are cut it in two. Part of them here in Nicaragua, another part in the Honduras side. But they're the same mosquito, and they don't have no visa or nothing. They just walk through the frontier. That's their home. That's the mosquito territory.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the Rama do something same because they cross to Costa Rica. Nobody bugs them. Yeah, so that's very interesting. Another thing too is a lot of more history about the Atlantic coast we need to discover. Mostly Nicaragua. From when I was a kid, I remember in school studying all the history from the Pacific, from Columbus up to our date. We don't want nothing to do with Columbus, man. To hell with him. He come and destroy our indigenous people from their territories. So with this research I started in BICU-CIDCA, I get to show Managua and the Pacific that we have more history than them. Just with the skeleton I found. So we have more. This is just a small window, just open. So we need to discover much more yet in the Atlantic coast of Nicaragua.
The skeleton.
This was worldwide information. Yeah. Yes, maybe like that.
So what do you have in the way of census materials? Like how many Rama are there here in Costa Rica, like all together?
In population?
Yeah, like all together.
If you put all together, maybe you come to 5,000 families approximately.
5,000 families?
Yes,
okay. Because
in Costa Rica they are bigger than the Ramas here.
Okay.
In Ramas here it's just like 1,700 people in total. People, not
right.
families. Yeah.
Okay, so about how many households would that be?
I'm sorry?
How many households would that be? How many households in Nicaragua?
Yes.
6 or 7 per household?
Approximately, yes. And these communities are not too big. If you see Bangkok, it's like 35 houses.
Yeah, they're pretty small.
If you go to Wirinki, it's like 15 houses. If you go Indian River is the only one keep the Rama way of living. They don't live in one community. They live along the river.
And the houses, how are the houses?
Houses, they are high from the ground, and the same way of this leaf and whip.
Okay.
The same material they use, the same way of living, the same way of doing the thing. They have the same way, the door is the same, they have the same way. But they like to live on hills. They don't like to live low down. Majority of them have their house up in the hill. And you see them walk down the hill to get water. You don't notice in Bangkok, the girls in the morning with a big bundle walking up the hill with a bucket of water? Man, the girls have legs to walk up that hill, man. They're strong women, man.
But you know, there is maybe this is new, but it was a place where they have a hole to get water, like underwater.
And right there's the bathroom.
Yeah.
But that's where they go wash clothes. They have two like common well where you could go and have shower. All the community go to those two places.
Yeah.
So you need to use water, but keep the place full of water.
So maybe now they are not gathering water because of that.
Yes, because of that. But I met several times they carry water to drink. So I see them walking up the hill with a bucket and maybe a baby here and walking, or they put a bucket on their head. Bucket on their head, another bucket in this hand, and the baby here, and they walk in the hill like nothing. And I said, oh, this lady could walk this hill. I have to go try this, and I take a bucket and that's it, man, I can't make it no more, man.
Men don't do that.
No, just a woman.
Yeah.
And they're strong, man, they're strong. Okay, you went Cane Creek. You went to Cane Creek. You met Clotilde.
Yeah.
Clotilde.
Yeah,
you saw her feet. You didn't see her feet? Typical from the woodlands, man. Old people, all the ways to move in one way.
But there, in the place we visited at Cane Creek, it was all older people.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were doing everything.
Them is the old Ramas living there.
Yeah. So no young people to do the work.
Yes.
She's like 90, 85 years old.
Yes. But you saw her feet, she go everywhere you find a lady. Yes. You find her one day Bangkok, next time she in Tiktikano, next time she in Sumokat. And there's another guy, I need to find out his name, I don't remember right now, but he's an old man like 80 years old. He paddled from Ramaki up to Sumokat, which is in Panga, in a fast boat, 200 more, it's 8 hours to get up there. And he go paddling, he take 3 days paddling. Just paddling, and you will go next to him and say, you want me to give you a tow? He said, no, I'm fine. And he paddled. Yeah. And we said, how did this guy do this thing, man? And we went up there, and was doing our research. 2 days after he was arriving, like nothing. He just walk out of the canoe. Hey, what's up, man? I'm here. I say, what is this guy? It's a lot of things we need to work with these Ramas, man. It's very interesting, definitely. So this is a little bit of what we did. This is Corn Island stuff on the Indian kukras. Yes, kukras, Indian kukras, practically was exterminated by the mosquitoes. According to some history, some other history say was because of the government. Some other one we say about the early Spaniards that came in from Spain is to exterminate them, to take away their richness. But so far, the kukras left a lot of archaeological things, so that we know that they had a good level of society, you know, to live more or less. Like these pieces are single in Nicaragua. You only find them in Corn Island. You don't find them in other place with those black marks. So they're not classified like you find them everywhere. It's just in Corn you find them. So maybe they have some influence from the Caribbean. We have to discover that. From the Taínos or whatever.
So what was in the ancient time, what was in Corn Island?
In the ancient time, according to, I read a report, not a report, maybe some biography of the pirate Dampier. You know, he was in the 18-something all over the world. He was Australian, I guess. And he wrote that when he was coming to across in the Caribbean, coming to Colón, Panama, but he had to make a stop in San Andres. But because of bad weather, then they head to Corn Island. When they arrived to Corn Island, there was white beaches, a lot of corn plantation.
Corn plantation.
But they didn't see no person, nobody's living there. What happened? The Indians were so shy they run and hide. Then he wrote that a couple days after he signed in the bush, people are checking them. And like after they get to have confidence, then he described how they look like. Like dark brown skin,
They were
short,
Rama? Were they Rama?
Kukras. And it shows the lady them with babies, long hair, nothing on top, but just cover here with a lot of things on their nose, and he drew them, and so it was very interesting. That's why he comment I've seen in those days. But now if you go back there now, you find all of these things. And you find the stone them set up, which actually they celebrated as the emancipation of the slavery. So the mayor from there says that this was done by the slave, but historically by archaeologists, that was made by the Indians. So we just keep quiet not to change it because that's what they're celebrating it now. But the reality, those are Indian doing it. And not Indian, indigenous, because we are not Indians. We are indigenous, Indian from India. That's a bad way to call us Indian. We don't know Indian. We are indigenous. So those are things we found, and down below here, all those plastic containers are pieces of ceramic, lithica, stones that we found in all the 9 communities of the Rama territory. All of those. This here was confiscated in Corn Island. There was a guy, Australian guy, trafficking with this.
Australian.
When I closed the door to him continue, because I trained the army, I trained the navy, I trained the airport, I trained everybody, so they closed on him, he couldn't get out no more. Someone went and told him, be careful of that guy, because he was a soldier, he would lock you up. So he called me one day and said, I need to talk to you personally. I said, I don't go personal, I have a team. I have these guys, I have this, and with 12 of us, you need to talk to all of us, with a team. So he said, I want to turn this thing to you. And he had them prepared to traffic. He broke them. You see, he break them apart to take them so anybody would think these pieces are stone. So then he restored them outside of the country.
Okay, so when he found these would have been like a complete ceramic pot, right?
Definitely completed. Part of all this collection you see here. So and not only this, we have these 3 and those 2 middle one there. All of these are the same. It's the same guy.
He never say what he trafficked before.
He never say, but we know he was trafficking. See, he put it up very nice, prepared it up, you see? If you notice, the same stone as that one, same ceramic. Now, his property have a lot. And we went and tell him, one more you touch, you get in trouble. So to keep him happy, I begged the mayor to give him a certificate as a port into the culture of Corn Island. So we compromised him. So now, he called me 2 times since last year that he found more, but the correct back. So he GPS it for me and send it down for me. So anytime I go do excavation, I know where to go. So there's much more of this thing in that hill. Yes, it's a mountain named Salipichi. So he's building some nice big houses to rent out. So he's a big millionaire man.
So what do you know about the function of these vessels, the ceramic? Were they used for cooking or for holding water?
Yes, they're well, okay. These, for example, they be using for cooking, according to how they found them. But for that, we need to do some tests to make sure exactly what they was cooking. But you see, they already take out of the context. They are already contaminated. So it'll be hard to see that. But since we found more, but we're not touching it yet, maybe with those we could go and get the sample. But for that, we need to make a little project. It's not just go and dig it out. We need to carry the expert, get out the sample, send it, and see what it is to eat. It was water, it was banana, it was breadfruit, it was wabul, fish, whatever. We could know exactly what they used to consume. And no, we are not strong, maybe eating a lot of garbage.
So what is the approximate dating then, or the range of dating?
Well, according to archaeologists, this type of work been done maybe 800 before Christ, or somewhere around there when they were working with ceramic like this. That's what more or less average. But we need to do better studies to make exactly the date. But roughly, that's what they told me. And well, this is most of the thing we found up there. This one is very interesting. This is a crocodile head. If you notice, it's a crocodile head. And then the body is into the soil.
Oh, that's a head.
Yes, and each one of these things have abstract figures. Yes. All of them the same. This is like a turtle back.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was collapsed because a big tree, old tree fall on top of it, and it split it in two.
Yeah.
But if we put it together, it's like a big shell. Very interesting. Yeah. There's another one. This one, for example, if you notice here, there are two animals here. I forget to move this leaf, but if you notice, this is the eye, this is the nose or the mouth, this is the head, the feet, and it's connected to another animal here with the eye and his feet here. They're like two animals together. And this is a mount cow, according to the Ramas. And this is another animal, I don't remember the name right now, they mention it. But this animal exists in those mountains. So this caught our attention a lot. I have another one inside, maybe I might show you tomorrow, with different figures. There's one where you see a little face. There's another one where you see a fish. And usually, with what I could compare with the Ramas, Kukras, and the Ulwas, which I'm doing right now, which is Muelle de los Bueyes, that's the territory of the Ramas. See what happened? The Atlantic was from south, all the littoral part up to Bluefields was the Ramas territory. From Bluefields to Rio Grande Byers was the Kukras. Then in the back was the Ulwas. Those are one of the biggest communities of indigenous people. So when I did my research, Muelle de los Bueyes is part of the Ulwa territory, and there you could notice that they had better development than the Ramas.
Do you think they had agriculture and more social structure?
Yes, and more interaction with other culture, because their figures are, the petroglyphs are more like, you see more like this. You see, this is Ulwa territory up in the north, up to close to Rio Grande Byers, and we find a lot of these faces like this. Like I said, tomorrow or maybe later I could share with you what I saw there. You get surprised. We want to go on my app, I could share now. Yeah. It's very interesting. I get to love this. I'm a marine biologist, but when the rector gave me to bring up this center again, and I get into history, and I said, man, I love this. Yeah. I am too passionate with this. I like to study anthropologists and archaeologists and do everything by myself because so much things to do, man.
What is the story behind that piece?
This. First time they found one of these in the Rama territory, so far. This you only find in Costa Rica and in the Pacific. We find this in the Rama territory. What could it be? Some interaction of contact with other groups, or they did a presentation to some of the chief up in that area. So this is like a gift, because if you compare, this is not the standard one. This is the standard one. And this one is, this have a lot of, you know, if you notice there are two persons here sustaining the jawbone, and two more little man is part of the ears. And if you notice this type of work, how they did this without broke it, I don't know, man. If you put somebody to do this thing nowadays with all these instruments, they will never do something similar to this. Yeah. But look at this work. I don't know how it's stone, how they did that, man, without breaking it. You know, it's incredible to understand that, how they did it. So, wow, it's impressed.
And it has been dated, this one?
Well, not exactly, but they was telling us that this cross is a symbol of these people. This cross. And I found this cross a lot in Muelle de los Bueyes. So maybe they have some relate, because in Muelle de los Bueyes there are some of these similar. Let's go around, I'm going to show you.
Just a moment.
Okay, that was in Bangkok where you want to visit. And if you notice this one, we found in Muelle de los Bueyes. And why the tide is so complicated, man.
So people don't.
I was coming in a boat, right? See something here. Like this piece of ceramic, not ceramic, this is rubbing rock. you find pieces of robin rock. This is like a foot of one big one, you see? Supposed to be a big robin rock. These are some same thing like what do you call it? The thing to rub on the robin rock, see? It was everywhere. These are the study right now. See if we find more.
The pack is because they are from different localities?
Yes,
or?
all of them have different, they codify already. They have different, the archaeologists have them codified already. This one under study yet, this one is not finished yet. See, each one they have it somewhere in there, the paper. And then the one that I want to show you where we found the other robin rock, which is similar to what I'll show you just now. So this is part of the robin rock. So they have some similitude of work. And this one is destroyed already. We have to rescue it. This is piece and this is piece of it. See, this is another piece of it. You see, notice the same type of work. But there was supposed to be a big guy. Some kind of the cow is who destroyed. So if you notice, it's something that we could track them to see how they were distributed in the area. These groups, because they have similitude. Yeah, I don't have this.